Another Dent Digest live show, episode number 23. You guys have hung on with me for 23 episodes. It's pretty crazy. So I do have a special guest. I got the Dent Trials world winner here, Manny PDR. What's up, Manny?
What's up? You know how to bring this up.
Look at this guy. Man, I'll tell you, for being a new tech, I was so proud of you. What was the first thing I did? I came up, you're like, stick your hand out. I'm like, oh no, I'm getting a hug.
Yeah.
I'm getting a hug.
It was a big hug too, man.
So, I want to go into last week a little bit. If you guys missed it, we had Vince and Daniel on from the PDR Tool Time group. And just kind of went over some tool recaps, some new stuff that came out. And MTE Vegas, what was your thought on MTE Vegas?
It was awesome. I feel it was, a lot of the techs that were on there, just like really true experienced techs. It was great. I mean, for the first time, Ryan, I think I had a great time. And, a lot of people think like, oh, it's Vegas. Like, all the techs were probably out, partying and, on the strip, getting drunk and all this kind of things. It's like, I never left the hotel. I mean, there was just so much
to
do there, so many people to talk to. It was just like, it was a lot of fun. It was a lot. And I like that hotel where they did it. There was a lot to do in that hotel. What was it? South Point, I think?
Yeah. And I didn't even realize they had like a horse arena inside there. And oh my gosh, the place is massive.
I didn't even make it to the bowling alley that they have in there too.
Me neither.
Yeah. And it was fun. It was a great place. To whoever didn't make it, you got to go next year. It's a lot of fun. And you got to tell the wives not to get scared. I know it's Vegas, but no, it's work related.
It was a lot of fun. It was, for me, it was nice. I mean, we've got a couple of the guys in here I got to spend some time with, like Big Ant from Premium Dent Repair. He's a Cali boy. He's been following me for a long time. So it was nice to really put a face and some of the personalities that were there. It was just really, I just enjoyed myself.
Yeah.
I can't wait to Orlando.
Yeah.
You coming to Orlando?
Yeah.
Look at the big deep breath. Look at that. No.
No, I'm going because it's once you're part of the community, you start getting to know more and more and more. You almost don't want to miss it. And last year I didn't make it because my daughter was a due date was right around that time, so it's just like I just couldn't risk it. Yeah. I mean, could you imagine just being across the country and just like your wife's like, yeah, I'm going to the hospital. What do you do? It's just like I couldn't risk it, but the Vegas came up, so I was just like, oh yeah. I'm going there. So Orlando, yeah, I'll be there for sure.
Are you going to compete?
You know it, baby.
Oh man,
you know it.
Oh my gosh.
Vegas was cool because it's the whole like the door dingers, like the West Coast thing, and that there's a lot of good health techs that I want to go out there and compete. And honestly, I mean, ever since I started, it was just like the Florida MTE was kind of like where
massive.
I wanted to win,
Yeah. And John Scotto in here saying defending champion. You got to go in there and take it. So we'll get into that trial here shortly. Did you get any tools at MTE that you're really enjoying using?
Yes, I did. I'll show it to you. I was excited to get, some of the stent liner.
Oh yeah.
This is the one I picked up, and I really enjoyed using this tool. I knew that I could have bought some of this stuff online, but that's the cool thing about MTE, that you could go on there, you could look at it, you could touch it. You know, the guys are there selling you, well, get this one. I honestly, I just sat there like just holding it and, you know,
Yeah.
just, okay, well, I could, you know, and I finally just settled for it. And so, yeah, this was one of the main tools that I got. I also got the that wedge with the flashlight on. I always forget what it's called, but
Yes, inspection wedge.
I knew that I could have bought that one online, but I was just excited to actually like see it there and grab it in. And I bought it the first day just because I was afraid they were gonna run out, and then you know, I was gonna miss having one. I also picked up like the you know, the Kiko crease tabs.
So I have a couple. I have been breaking those since
Which
I've been
one
back.
did you get? Did you get the ice one or this?
The new. It came with like a variety pack. It was a mix.
Okay.
The ice have been the only ones that have broken, but they are saying to use a mini lifter. So I've been using a slide hammer, and I'm abusive to this stuff. So, you know what I mean? I think what I personally think, I think on that tab, if you can hold that tab up for the camera, it's got an oval head on it. It's almost like a rectangle head. So my slide hammer does not have a pass through. So it's only grabbing half of that head. And I think that's some of the problem that I had with breaking the couple. But everyone that I broke pulled so hard I didn't have to pull it again. So it paid for itself. You know what I mean? I consider tabs like glue. You know, it's a consumable.
Yeah. You gotta keep grabbing some, just like you said, glue. I grabbed the blue ones because everybody knows I still use acetone. And
are you serious? Oh my gosh, man. You got to get to that 91% alcohol.
You know, everyone tells me, you know, it's not safe for you and all this stuff, but I figure, listen, if my wife cleans her nails with acetone, I'm sure I'll be fine. But you know, acetone works good for me, and I grabbed the dark blue ones. It's different plastic material, I think, and just in case. But I did get the Viardi one that comes with both.
Yeah, I do. I like the dark blue ones better than the ice.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah. No, it's they've been great. I've used it maybe a couple of times, and they did the job. And but you know, slowly but surely, you put them to the test more and more and more. You know,
it's a great tab, man. I mean, it's everybody's been using them. I've seen them online that people were breaking them, and it happens, man. It happens. So whatever, you know.
And that's the nice thing, you know, that there is so many Viardis of tabs that you can just keep around and, you know, go through your little toolbox and pick out whichever one, you know.
It's funny because I just shot a video. I was glue pulling some stuff, and Shane's videoing me, and I'm like, I use a beta cart for my glue pulling setup, and the one drawer you open up and it's just nothing but tabs. And I'm looking through. I'm like this. He's like, "You look like a surgeon looking for your tools," and I'm like, "We kind of are." So
yeah, I like to do that setup. Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
Two tools that I got three I'm actually really enjoying. I'm really enjoying this Reflecto mat from TDN.
On the floor, yeah.
I used it on a trunk lid on a Tesla, and it really helped. You know what I mean? More than I thought it was going to help with cross-checking. So it was definitely a win for me. It reflects really well. I mean, Vince last week was stabbing it with a knife, trying to see if it would tear. The other tool that I just got, I used today, is John Hiley's new T-handle. And one of the cool features that I did get is the adapters that work with the smaller tequila tools.
Yeah.
And the ultra handles.
Yeah.
So
I'm not gonna lie, that was one tool that I was kind of bummed about. I didn't get it. But that was one tool that I was excited to get in Vegas, but I didn't get it, but I will soon.
The build quality on this, man.
Oh yeah.
I've got his regular handle and I use it quite a bit, certainly with my Reaper tools. But just the build quality of this thing is is even the adapters. I was just sitting here today, and I haven't got a chance to use the adapters, but as good as this adapter snaps in here, I mean, it's really well made. You know, the tolerances are really small.
It is. You know what's crazy, Ryan? Is that, you know how the one that you have, that's the one where it's like a T, right? But you could also take one in and adjust it to the other.
Yeah. You can actually take this end off.
Yeah.
And screw it to this and make it a regular handle.
Right. So, but they also have the other version that it's a regular handle. But honestly, personally, I really like how this one feels just as a regular handle. I just feel like the fact that it's more bulky on the end, it feels really good.
Yeah.
Now there at the Anson booth and just holding it, I'm just like I couldn't decide which one, but that's the one I'm going for.
Yeah, it's just like when I first got it, the original handle, the other regular handle one, just this part.
Yeah,
I mean the quality of the gear part of it, this is just a nice tool. I mean, this one was given to me. I did help John. So all of the grips he didn't get in time for MTE. So he reached out to me. I was leaving later than most guys. So he overnight the grips to me to get to Anson. And then when I got to Anson, Christina didn't realize we had to build every one of these. So I sat at MTE on Thursday on Education Day and built every single handle there. So
man, you should have let me know. I would have volunteered to get.
But thank you, John. I appreciate it. The other tool that a lot of people don't know about. So I got this. I'm good friends with Mark Blem, and he had a 16-inch flag. It looks like a standard flag, and it was a bendable flag. And he ended up coming out with this one. And this thing, you wouldn't believe the strength of this thing. So it's tempered on the end here. That's what gives it the strength.
Yeah.
So all the way from where it's shaved to here, I mean, it is so like for a trunk lid when you're in this, you don't have the trunk off and you're trying to get in one of those holes. This thing works awesome. So it's a bendable flag from Blem Tools, but it's a great tool. I've been using the crap. I mean, you can see this thing he brought it to me at MTE, and you could see, I mean, it's already beat all up and bent all up. So
yeah, his tools are really well made. I mean, that metal that's on there, it's
it's tools these days. The advancement of tools, like you guys are lucky. You should see some of the stuff that I still have in my garage. You're like, how did you even fix cars with these tools?
RPM then says too. I think he's looking for.
But the advancement of tools. I mean, how many years have you been in?
So I've been the business since 2014. So I mean, honestly, it's been a full 4 years because I started at the end of 2014. So I want to say it's 4 years fully. Actually, August 29, 2014 was my last day at my old job at the body shop. It was on a Friday. I'll never forget. I was saying bye to everyone, and some people knew that I wasn't coming back, and some people were like, "I'll see you next week," right?
Nope.
And then, after that, took some time off, and then went into training, and then I did some intern for a recon company, just doing dents. I worked there for a month for free. And then in December 6th, 2014, that was my first day in business. I was about 8 o'clock. I got in my car, nowhere to go. Just, just had a notepad. And I just knew that I had to go and start writing down shops, you know,
figuring it out. That's it. You know what I
figuring
mean?
it out.
And you probably came home that first day and you're like, did I make the right decision? You know what I mean? You believed in yourself, but you were like, it's not going as fast as I expected it to go.
Yeah. You know what I did is just that I just focused one day at a time.
Yeah.
One day at a time. And my goal was deliver my business card to at least 3 shops daily.
Yeah.
Just deliver my card, 3 shops, and one day at a time. Before you knew it, at the end of the week, I had 3 times 5. I had 15 body shop names logged into my sheet, and then did the same thing the following week.
Yeah.
The crazy part that I always tell everyone is just like, man, my phone just wouldn't ring, nothing, nothing going through it. I would grab my personal phone and call my business phone just to see if it was working.
Yeah.
And it's you gotta hustle, man.
It's a mental game too. I was actually talking to John Scotto, which is the RPM Dent Repair, on the phone 2 days ago, and he took a little bit of a hit with one of his shops, and he's like, man, I came home from MTE and I'm freaked out. And then I sat back and everything is working its way out. And that's what this business is. This business is more mental. Like when I started RPS, I really had just retail. I didn't have a whole lot of shops. I had a few. And I remember knocking on every door, go right in, boom, hey, I'm Ryan. I can fix anything you have. I was at a point in my career to where I knew I could handle most of the damages. Most of the damage out there, I'm like, I got this. And I came home to my wife and I said, I really think I screwed up. And she's like, you better figure it out. And off to the running, and it gets discouraged. You go in all these shops and you're better than their dent guy. And they're like, I got a guy. And I'm like, no, I'm better than that guy.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So, and a lot of that is
too. They look at you like, that guy, like, and for me, it's like, I look young, so it's just like this guy,
Yeah.
But to me, it was just like, listen, you have a guy. I know that you have somebody do your dents, but I'll take anything, and if I could be your option B, option C is just like, but I'm here to help. That's all I just tell shops,
Just give me a shot. That's all I need. All I need is 1 or 2 cars. Just give me in your head. If I can fix 1 or 2 cars, I'm going to get this account. Even if I'm sharing it with somebody, I don't care.
What's funny is that there was this one shop that I pulled up to, and I said, yeah, that I do paintless dent repair, and they were like, okay, well, what do you think of this dent? It was a Buick Regal rear door on a body line, and I was like, yeah, I'll do it. So I'm in there, Brian. I'm in there working this dent, and it was like right on the body line, and I pushed on that thing a little bit too hard, cracked the paint. Oh man, I felt so bad, And then I walked up. It was a girl. Walked up to her and I said, it was really bad in there, and it's not gonna work. And then she was like, all right, well, what are you gonna charge me? I was like, no, just don't worry about it. It's just like. And I never heard from that shop ever again.
No.
Right? And in the body shop industry, estimators move around. So I had one guy that I knew ends up working at that same body shop. This was 2 years after. So he calls me to go do the work there. So I walked in there like, and it's fun, but that's how it is. And like you said, it's just a mental thing, you just gotta keep pushing yourself.
You're at a point, and I'm going through it right now. I've got we service a ton of body shops, and I'm really, really good at the relationship part. I build the relationships. That's my thing. It's just my thing. So right now I'm at a point to where this manager got fired. This manager's moving here. This estimator's moving here. This guy's moving here. And I'm like, I said to my wife, it's like, man, I'm uncomfortable. And she's like, why? I'm like, man, I've got a lot of guys moving around. Sometimes you win, sometimes you lose.
Oh, yeah.
Because those estimators are going somewhere else.
Mm-hmm.
And sometimes they go to a shop you already have.
Yeah. Yeah.
Or they go to a new shop and you can retain the shop you have now and get a new shop. So, it is what it is. It's all part of the game. Sometimes you get a manager in. I have one right now that wouldn't give me the time of day. I've had this account 5 years, and he would not give me, the new manager would not give me the time of day. I walked in, I was like, hey, I'm Ryan. He never looked up from his computer. You know what I mean? I was like, hey, I'm Ryan. Stuck it in his face.
Just like that too. Yeah.
Just leave your stuff on the desk.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah.
But it's
waiting till they get an estimator that really knows you, and it's like, Ryan's the man. Yeah.
Yeah. It is what it is. It's part of the game. I enjoy the cold calling part of it. I just enjoy the going in and just them looking at you like, what does this dent guy want after you're the 12th dent guy walk through that walk through the door.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know, man.
And the important thing though is just like, I mean, in any business, right? But I think in the automotive repair industry, that I learned this from in the very beginning. Just working in the body shop is just like, whatever you do, keep your name clean.
Yep. And friend everybody.
Yep.
The cleanup guy is your best friend.
Yeah.
Because he's the last one to touch that car.
Yeah. Because, like they say, you'll never know who you'll be working for.
Yep.
And you'll never know who you come across with, So it's just like, whatever you do, even for whoever, starting out in this business, it's just like, keep your name clean. Yep. Be humble, be friendly, smile to everyone.
Yep. I mean, get to know everybody.
Yeah.
Everybody in that whole place.
Yeah.
Get to know every one of them, because you never know when you're walking in there and they're like, hey, there was some other guy in here. There's some other guy in here pushing dents, or, you got a new manager, you never know, but these guys are letting you know inside information. Or, I've got an account to where the guy that's doing the MSI is like, he'll text me and be like, hey, you got a Honda Civic out there with a busted quarter. You got a Honda, a Accord with this, or a Camry with that. Those relationships are where you make your money.
Yeah.
So let's get into your little dent trials. Let's get some secrets here. So I'll tell you, you did really well. I mean, there were some serious guys. I mean, look at Sal. Sal Contreras. I mean,
I was actually afraid of Sal because he got in there with his bar, and
yes,
in 5 minutes that thing was out.
Yes,
and I was just like, oh. And he started with the door, I think.
Yeah.
And he got that thing out quick, and I was like, wow, and I was like, wow, but it was a Nissan Metal, and that thing, you have to just be patient with that.
And let me tell you, those dents, if you guys didn't see these dents, you need to go on Facebook, MTE page. And
Matt saying if I had the backdoor dent. Yeah, I did have the backdoor dent.
That backdoor dent was worse than the front door dent.
You know what it was funny is that as soon as I knew I was doing the backdoor dent, I was like, because in my head, I was like, I'll open the front door, I'll go through the little harness, and just get in there, very nice. And then I think Andrew was like, oh, no, we're making everyone go through the window. I was like, really? He was like, yeah, everyone's going through the window. So I was just like, oh, man, but it worked out.
That rear door dent was
deep.
It was nasty. When you could see the full circumference of that dent from across the room.
Yeah.
The fender didn't look that bad.
No.
And the roof rail and the rail wasn't that bad.
Yeah. As soon as actually the first day is like 10 a.m. in the morning. As soon as I walked up and then I saw Nissan, I was like, guys, the whole Alliance crew is just like, Nissan? Like, seriously? But they were like, what do you worry about, man? It's just, I think, what's her name? April from Alliance. She saw me there because I was just like, and then she was just like, what do you worry about, man? I was just like, Nissan? Like, seriously? Like, Nissan?
The worst.
Like, they were the only cars that we could get like 3 or 4 of the same. Everything else was just, they only had either 1 or 2. So they were like, so we had to go with it. And, but yeah, those rear doors, I mean, honestly, I kept looking at them from the side, like the first day. And I was just like,
they were bad, man. They were terrible. So how did you start the door dent? Let's go with that. What tools are you using? If you want to give those secrets away, I don't know if you want to.
No, so I started with the fender. I'll start with that, because they don't have a rule of which one you have to do first. So I knew I had the rail, I knew I had the door, and I knew I had the fender. Originally, in my daily work, I don't know about you, but I always start with the hardest dent.
Mm-hmm.
I always start with the hardest dent.
Fresh eyes.
But in this case, I was like, I forgot who I was talking to. Oh, I think what's his name? Ken? Yeah, Ken from Hammer Dent, I think.
Yeah.
Hammerhead Dent. And we were talking. I was talking to him, and he was just like, I think I may start with the fender, and then the door, and then the rail. So I was like, you know what? I may just consider that. Get the fender out of the way, and then go on to the door. But so I started with the fender, and I'll tell you those. I don't know if anyone knows this, but the PSI on the Orlando, it's typically like 22 PSI, I think. But in Vegas, it was 25 PSI. And so it was they were a little bit sharper. And so in regards to tools, I'm in California, and then out here we have Ultra
Dent tools. All you Cali guys, kill me. Actually, Chris is in here, Chris Brown, and he's a huge Ultra guy. And, to be honest with you, I bought my first Ultra tool there. I don't have any other Ultra tools because the shipping for me to get Ultra tools is ridiculous.
When I first started, I almost thought like Ultra was like the standard, like that's what you have to have if you're in the industry.
I was a handcraft guy.
Little by little, then I figure out that there's more out there. So I'm an Ultra Dent tool guy. I've always had their tools ever from the beginning. So I have the all their double bent. I have the 24, the 36. So I'm gonna grab it real quick. I have it in here, except my 3-year-old put it somewhere. Oh, here it is. So
that's the exact tool I just bought. Look at that.
Yeah. And this is the soft tip, the one that you can change the different tips.
Yeah.
And literally this was the only one that I grabbed. I didn't grab the 24. I only grabbed this one. I think this is the 36.
Yeah.
This is my go-to tool on a daily basis. I think one time you asked me, Ryan, like, what was that one tool that if nothing else, that one tool, it's this one.
Yeah.
Because with this one in the fender, it's just perfect leverage. The fender, your tire's about here.
Yeah.
And you can literally reach anything. And on those Nissan fenders, like, I wasn't worried about the dent being too far up. So I knew I was going to be able to have just
leverage,
perfect leverage. So this is what I use on the fender. And I also use an Anaconda that I got from Dent Gear a long time ago when they were around. This is typically my fender tool.
Yeah.
But I didn't even get to use that.
Matt says you need to cut that handle off.
I thought about it, but when you're really pushing on hard dents, I like the steadiness of it.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, there's not a whole lot of play like when you have the the different handles, but
yeah,
I like that secureness on this.
I do enjoy that handle too. I really do. Just I don't know. It's like I said, it's my first Ultra tool, but
this is what I use on the fender, and this is the same tool that I use on the door. And on the door,
you started it with that tool.
On the door for me was perfect. This is actually the only tool that I use, right?
Really?
For the door.
What tips did you use? See, I'm digging deep, buddy. I'm digging deep.
So this is my my regular different tips that are my daily use. So what I started out with, it's basically the soft tip.
Yeah.
Eventually new caps, everything, everything was fresh that day. But it was a soft tip with a double bent Ultra 36-inch. I started with this one to get right in that center. And I got in the center, I got the main pressure of the dent out. And then slowly but surely, you start bringing down the, what would you call it, Ryan? When you're trying to get that center out, that, trying to get that center to look.
You're trying to shrink it, you know what I mean? Because you were bringing so much metal up at one time because it's so sharp. You're trying to, the center's still low, and then you're mounding up a little bit around it, and then you're knocking that down and just keep going back and forth. And you can almost watch it just go.
So my trick was that
flattening the ridges.
And when you start pushing the center, don't go all the way.
Yeah.
Don't go all the way, because the thing is that metal, it's if you could stretch it just by pushing it. So I knew that I was just going to go slowly, but slowly, a little bit by little bit. And so this was my tip that I started the thing out with. As it gets smaller, as you got to get more precise into the center. This is all Ultra stuff, by the way. So they have this hard plastic tip that was pretty much my second one to go. After the soft tip, I went with this hard plastic. And then same thing, just trying to get into that center. Trying to get into that center. And then I went to the smaller hard plastic tip.
Is that an Ultra?
Yeah, this is all Ultra stuff. So Ryan, I don't know what tips you have, but this soft tip.
So I just picked up while I was at MTE the Ultra new red cap tip thing that everybody says you can. It's hard to push through. Bro, that tip I haven't changed once. It's a little scarred up and looks jacked up, but that tip is incredible. It really is. I didn't believe the hype. At first. It's a really good tip.
So I don't know if you could see.
Yeah.
Then after the soft tip, I went into this one, and then I went smaller. Basically, just getting smaller and smaller as that center of the dent gets smaller and smaller.
So you didn't use any really sharp tip?
It's a Nissan metal, Ryan.
Yeah, I know.
It's Nissan metal. Honestly, I mean, listen, respect to all of the guys that don't use soft tips, right? But I believe that there's metal out there that if you go metal on metal, it's almost like too strong for the type of metal that you're working. So to me, that Nissan metal, I didn't want her to, you know, I was gonna use the Reaper, you know, but I didn't want her to go metal on metal because it's too strong for it, you know. We could easily just
poke it up.
poke through it.
And you're not allowed to sand or anything.
Oh no, no. I mean, you can use compound, you know, but there was no sanding. There was no sanding. They you know, they'll use the sanding towards the end to clean up those cars, but you know, during the competition, no sanding. Excuse me, no heat. So you know, when I pushed on those dents, it was all these
and a double bend.
I tell you something I did do wrong on the fender. That fender, I took too long on it.
Why?
Because I went with the soft tip.
Yeah.
And the reason why I took too long is because that fender, the crease was really sharp crease.
Yeah.
It was a really sharp crease. And then I pushed it out with the soft tip, but the center was still there.
Oh, I see what you're saying.
And then I moved on to this one. But this one, it's like kind of like a bigger.
Yeah, it's not narrow enough. It's not sharp enough.
Narrow enough, not sharp enough. And so when I was pushing with this one, I wasn't getting into that center of that crease.
Mm-hmm.
You know how sometimes you're trying to get to the center, but you're not really in the center, so the dent kind of just.
Yeah.
You know, and that was just taking me a long time. And then finally, you know, I started moving into a sharper tip. But the fender just kind of took me a long time. Shane got that fender quick. Like
he's in here too. Yeah, I mean his stuff looked good too.
Done. And actually the day off, the final, you know, the final day of the competition, we were looking at the fenders, and yeah, his dent was really clean on that fender. I was looking at mine, and mine you could see, you know, I don't know what you would call that. You could see that it, you know, it was kind of rounded there, and I was just like, oh man, you know, I'm not gonna get this. But yeah, Ryan. So these were my go-to tips, and honestly, these are my daily. I couldn't live without these tips.
And the glass was out of that door, correct?
No, the glass was in there.
It was still in there?
Yeah. At least for me on my door, it was there.
I'd rather push with the glass in it.
Yeah, you get a little bit more support.
A little more leverage. I feel like there a lot of times there's just too much give on the tool. You know what I mean? It just
and not just that, but like your tool kind of
slides around.
Yeah, yeah. So the glass, having the glass in there was really nice. Gave that support, and you know, those dents were really stretched. At least for the one on the fender, you know, the tire, you get really nice leverage, but the one on the door, it's like, this is what I like about the Ultra and the one with the original handle, that you could really grip on that thing and hold it and just push, baby, push.
How long would you say the rear door took you? That obviously took you longer than the stuff.
That's where I spend most of the time. I want to say probably, I want to say the fender probably took me 20 minutes. The door probably, you know, 35, 40 minutes maybe. No, less than that, like 30 minutes maybe.
Yeah. That rear door though, man.
It's 90 minutes, right? The roof rail was, I didn't have a lot of time on that. I think the roof, I had about 15 minutes left.
What'd you use? What tools did you use for the roof rail?
So with the roof rail, I did, you know, eventually it's all glue pull. People are asking me, oh, did you drill on the roof? I'm like, drill on the roof rail. You know, and it's all glue pull.
Little gangrene, huh? Look at that.
And, it's funny, but a lot of my good tools, they're all green. My light has the green. For glue, I use the cactus green or the green.
I'm a cactus green guy too.
And then for tabs are the green.
I figured you would use the new dead center.
What's funny is that I bought them right before I did the competition.
Oh, I understand that.
And I tried using it, but it didn't work for me at that time.
Yeah.
I think sometimes you have to kind of prep the tabs.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
Like either wipe them down with alcohol or stuff like that. But I didn't actually have alcohol with me that day. Oh man, yeah. But the thing about the one on the rail, Ryan, is that rail was, had a really sharp in there. And I actually, the first pull, I did the one that it's a little bit bigger than this.
Really?
And I think, looking back, I always ask myself, like, what could I have done better? What could I have done different? And I would have had loved to start out at least with this one, with a smaller one.
Did you brought up too much at one time, the first time, right?
Yes. I brought up too much the first time, and then I had to fight to settle everything down. And so I wish that I would have started at least with a smaller, even with this one. This one is actually, to me, this is a secret weapon right here.
Oh yeah. I'm a dead center guy though. That they've taken a back seat right now for me. Those dead center round tabs pull like nothing I've ever used, man.
Yeah.
One pull, they're turning them inside out.
Yeah.
But like you were saying, I think the smaller tab wouldn't have agitated as much on the sides. Sometimes you pull it and it leaves those valleys on either side, and it's a lot of cleanup work.
So the crazy part about the roof rail, though, that I was doing a lot of that, and trying to get that center out wasn't working. And you know how sometimes it goes from being a round to like a crease.
Yeah.
And that's what happened to me on this one, on that roof rail. That center just it turned into a crease.
Starts moving, yeah.
Yeah. And this is where I brought up my other. You know how you have different tabs, but there's that one size that it works the best?
Yeah.
So this one.
See, I'd never use those oval tabs.
But these oval tabs?
Never.
This is my favorite one.
Yeah.
This is my favorite one because it will pull kind of like, it would almost pull like a crease tab.
Yeah.
And especially if you put your glue just a straight line right in that center, it will pull nice. So this tab, Ryan, this is what saved me that roof rail.
We're using a slide hammer or a mini lifter?
No. Slide hammer. I didn't use no mini lifter.
Yeah.
Because you know what happens when you pull too hard on it.
There was a guy there using a mini lifter. A lot of guys use mini lifters on rails. I'm terrified. I've jacked up a rail before.
Listen, I respect
4 hours.
I respect that, but to me, that mini lifter, you could get yourself in trouble. Either the foot will, or that center will just pull too much.
Yeah.
I learned that the hard way when I first started on a Honda Civic. Use that mini lifter, and sometimes you just can't see it. And I just pulled on that thing, overstretched it.
Yep. Me, I had a Ford Escape on the back of the rail, and I'm just like cranking these. It's got big nasty dents. I'm in there cranking. Well, I wasn't realizing the feet were just denting the rail throughout. So Hey,
that thing will get you in trouble. So I didn't use no mini lifter. I used the slide hammer.
yeah,
And the slide hammer, it's been really good for me. And they just asked what slide hammer.
yeah.
I didn't bring it in, but that slide hammer has been really good luck for me, because that slide hammer, I bought it at MTE 2017 or 2016. I can't remember exactly. I think it was 2016, but it was that year when there was a dent guy that had just passed away.
Mm-hmm.
I can't remember his name. I apologize for that. But they were donating some of his tools for the family, and that slide hammer was there.
Oh, that's cool.
And I wanted to contribute, and I needed a slide hammer, so I got that one there. And it's the blue slide hammer, nothing crazy. It's not heavy, but yeah, that's all I use is slide hammer. But so Ryan, I had like, you think 90 minutes is a long time,
No,
as you're you're saying.
I told Mike Toledo the other night, I said, I really don't know if I could fix that one dent in an hour. The stress, the anxiety of that's what I said. Everybody's like, to me, they're like, why don't you try? And I said, you know why? Because I enjoy myself at MTE, and I don't want to be stressing about that dent in the rear door, because I was dreaming in bed in Vegas about how bad that dent was in that rear door, because I said, oh my gosh, that thing is terrible.
Dentcraft was like, because I was asking him like, oh, how come you complete that? Nope. I would have liked that car to be dropped off and picked up the next day.
Yeah.
There's no other way I'm doing that in 90 minutes. I don't work good,
Under pressure, man.
Under pressure. And then he was like, I don't like it. But so I started with the fender. It took me longer than I expected, but I got it to where it was good, and I just moved on. I did the door, and the door was taking me a long time. And then when I got into the rail, I probably had like 15 minutes, right? But I felt confidence about glue pulling. And a lot of people say, I'm like a glue pull master, but I felt good about the glue pulling. And when that thing just started going, it was just falling in place. But then it was coming down to like 5 minutes.
It's when the real stress is coming out and you're starting to sweat. I remember it was funny because I was walking back to my room to kind of relax a little bit. MTE for me it's tough because we're out of the room at 7 a.m. We're going to bed at 2 or 3 a.m, and you're on your feet the whole time. And Manny's like, where are you going? He's on there's like a fast walk thing like you see in the airport. Manny's like, where are you going? I was like, I'm going back to the room. You're like, the award ceremony's coming up. You gotta come. So I got back to the room. I laid in the bed, and I was like this, and I was starting to fall asleep, and I was like, I gotta go. Then I got up and
I remember
saw Manny win it all.
So Ryan, 5 minutes was starting to come down. And I was trying to blend that thing, do whatever it took just to make the whole thing go away. And that small crease was still there. So I brought out this thing.
Well,
on there.
I need to get your address.
Bang.
Because I'm mailing you all those oval tabs that I never use. So you can get some use of those tabs because I do not use them.
But Ryan, I'm telling you, like every different brand of tabs have like, there's different ones they have. They're my favorite, but this oval tab, this one here, it's my go-to. So Ryan, it's 5 minutes left, bro, and I put this thing on there. And it pulls it.
One pull?
That crease. That center of that crease that I had left. it pulls it. And then now it's down to 3 minutes. So get on there real quick, tap that thing out, and start just blending everything.
A little Shane Jacks with an edgy knocker on there too, huh? And then what is that? A Dentcraft tip or an Ultra tip?
This is
edgy knocker,
and then this is Dentcraft.
Okay.
This right here, that's my golden tool. This is another tool, Ryan, that this is all I need. This is all I need. This.
Now, are you a knockdown guy or are you just a hammer guy?
No, I'm a knockdown guy.
Okay. Yeah.
But this tip right here, this edgy tool tip.
I love that tip. Love it.
Wow, this tip, I don't know. I don't know if he blesses these tips before he sends them out or what. And originally I thought this was a titanium tip, and it's not.
No, I think it's stainless.
I always thought it was titanium, because just the way it moves metal.
Yeah.
I
did just start using Cole Fox's bomber. And it's like about this big. It looks like a bomb, and it's a hand blender. And I'll tell you, it's like nothing I've ever used before.
Really?
Granted, you're not going to get that reach, but it's so controlled, and the weight is so good. It was the best $50, man. It's totally worth it.
And then as far as I brought in a few of my tools, because I was so excited to kind of share with a few people.
Shane Roses said he couldn't even eat his breakfast.
I think Shane was, for Shane's competition, I think he was he was more doing like the drunk Olympic dent trial.
I'll tell you, if you don't know Shane, he is a really, really passionate dent guy too, man. I've seen him online for a couple years, and we've actually got to spend a little bit of time together and talk. And I'm like, this guy, he's got it going on. He was really upset, at the trials that he didn't even get on the top. What was that, 3 or 4? Because he put a lot of time on it, So
I tell you,
get it, man, Shane. You're gonna get it. I mean, Manny, you came back. What did you do? What was it, last year?
7th place.
Yeah,
I did 7th place in Orlando in 2018 last year. Honestly, everyone was talking about like that the side that I worked on, the same side that Shane worked on in Vic, actually, who won 2nd place. By the way, shout outs to Vic too, because we were really close. He did really good. But Shane, and I told him this, and I don't know if everyone's heard the video, but when I was up there, it's just like, I love you, Shane, because he had done it really good, man. And when they start going, 4th place, 3rd place, 2nd place, and then at the end, I was like, it's either me or Shane, and I was just like it's because
you were shocked. You could see it in your face. You were shocked because you sat there for a minute. You were like, okay, you were shocked. You were sure it was Shane.
Yeah. I told Shane, it was just like, man, it's just like, and I told him, it's just like, man, it's just like your dent was so, it was really good, and I felt really good about. Because I knew that 1st place, it was either him or I, and when they called my name, it was just like, I couldn't believe it, but I was going to say for the knockdown, of course, the VIP.
Yeah, man.
The VIP, that's my go-to one. And then Steve Brown, he put me onto this tab.
Does it have the magnet in it?
Yeah.
Yep.
Shout out to Steve Brown, man. He, I mean, that's like the uncle I never had, you know.
His brother Chris is in here, man. They're just really good dudes.
You know, Steve Brown, man. I'll never forget. You know, some of the first times that he called me, it was just like, listen, for a guy that's been in the industry for over 15, 20 years to call me up and tell me how good I am and tell me, you know, that I was big and he really respect me, man. And he's really supported me like a lot from the beginning.
Calls you a freak.
Yeah, man, that was one guy where when I was there celebrating, I swear I almost put a tear. I almost started crying, you know, because it was like, you know, he's always believed in me, and so he put me onto this tab. And this tab, it's beautiful because it's sharp. Won't leave no markings or anything like that. And that's the other thing too, Ryan, that on this competition, it's not just, you know, how professional you are, how fast you are, but it's also how clean you leave the dent. And you know, some of these VIP tabs, you could leave markings on there.
Oh yeah, you'll divot it a little bit sometimes.
I used it a little bit, but not too much. This was kind of my go-to.
Yeah.
Once I got the center out of it, then I just moved into the blending.
Yeah.
And then it was like, I'm telling you, Ryan, so once I pull it, I had like 3 minutes left, and I'm looking at that timer. And it was funny because, you know, I'm conscious about the time, and I'm there working, excuse me, and I would just scream it out, how much time do I got? What's my clock say? And then at that moment, you know, the guys were like gathered, and they weren't really hearing me, and I had to like scream it like 3 times. It's like, how much time do I got left? It was like 5 minutes. And then that's when, you know, I pulled up the tab, that thing came out, and then it was like 3 minutes. And then, you know, I tapped the center of that, and then I just started blending. But I was using my own light. And once I put my light a little bit more back so I could see, you know, just the whole thing, how clean it was, I find that there's a low spot in front of my dent. So I'm just like shoot, you know, like I wanted to put a tap on there and then just pull that low just so that the whole thing look straight. But I didn't have no more time. I mean, I was down to like 2 minutes. So I just started, you know, blending, and then before you know it, it was like 1 minute, and then, you know, it's like 10 seconds, and then Andrew comes up, it's like, stop, like, you know, just like you would see in regular Olympic, tools down, and I was like, okay, I'm done.
So how'd you feel after that? Like after the thing, did you feel where you're like, I got this?
Heart's pounding, you know. Hands are shaking, like, whoa, you know. It's awesome, man. You know, going through that competition, it's awesome. You know, I've been the type of person that I've always liked to work under pressure.
Yeah.
And that's what I love about this competition. Just being under pressure.
I'm excited for Orlando. I want to see what you can do.
Why are you putting the pressure on?
Put the pressure on now. We're gonna do it now. You and Shane, it's gonna be you two like this.
Yeah.
Shane's coming. I got this feeling. I think he's gonna practice as much as he can. You know what I mean?
It was funny because he went on to.
We got a visitor. Look at this.
Happy birthday to you.
It's my birthday tomorrow.
Happy birthday to you.
Hi, baby.
Say hi. Say hi, everyone.
So it's my birthday tomorrow, Ryan.
Oh, I didn't even know. Look at that. I didn't get filled in, but that's super cool.
So
Make a wish.
thank you. I love you guys.
Bye, guys. Let's go.
So happy birthday to me.
That's awesome. Happy birthday, Manny.
I love you guys.
We love you.
What a surprise. I didn't know this was happening.
And you know what? That right there is one of the reasons I do this show, just because it's real life. You know what I mean? This is real life. Oh,
I
that's,
love
awesome.
it,
That's awesome.
That is
How old are you? Like 25 or something?
34.
Look at that. Young bucks. All these young bucks.
I'll be 34 tomorrow, Ryan. This is so cool.
That's awesome.
So
So I do have an announcement.
what's that?
I do have an announcement for the guys that are still in here watching.
Oh,
I am going to be giving away, courtesy of Ants and PDR, 2 bags of glue.
nice.
And how you're going to win these 2 bags of glue, you got to go to Manny's Instagram page and comment on his post about this show.
Mm.
And you need to go to this YouTube page after the show and comment, "Happy birthday, Manny." And I will announce this right before our show next week. So I'm gonna end it. I'm gonna cut it off an hour before our show next week, and then I will announce it during the show next week.
That's so cool, man. That's so
You
cool.
But no, we're getting low on time. You know, I really appreciate you coming on. You know, me and you sat and talked for like an hour at the bar the first night there, and I enjoy even your passion. You know, just your, like, my wife watched your little Instagram thing talking about the show, and she's like, "He's so excited," and I was like, "Yeah," I was like, he's a passionate guy about the industry. You know, for me as an old guy in this industry, I love seeing guys like you that are young and just killing it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I mean, you're a perfect example. Shane Rosas in here, you know, Big Ant, all these guys with the passion. I love it.
I mean,
You know?
honestly, for me, Ryan, it was almost like a dream come true. I mean, ever since I looked to the paintless dent repair world, you know, I knew there was MT, and I knew that there was that competition, you know, and it was just like, it's always been a dream. That was just like, man, if I could just win, you know, first place or something like that. You know, don't get me wrong, winning 7th place was also big for me, but, you know, it was just like, that's why you could hear it in my voice. You know, when I won that first place, it was just like, man, I swear, if I could have grabbed the mic, I would have just cried, you know?
Yeah.
And but also I you know, my main thing was just giving it up to all the guys, man, because everyone did good. Everyone did a great job. And you know, at the same time, I want to say, you know, if you don't mind, right, I just wanted to say, you know, thank you for the Alliance Dent Repair, pretty much the whole family. You know, Andrew, his dad, and the whole crew. They're great people. You know, give it up for Kevin too. I think his last name's Hellwood, the MT founder. Yeah. I mean, because, you know, this is our community. You know, and for him to work hard and put this event together, you know, for all of us, it's cool. You know, give it up for Shane. You know, Shane did really
he did
awesome, man. You know, there's a lot of people, you know, Mike Toledo, you know, he's you know, for everything that he does for the industry, you know, and everyone else who's also, you know, supported me, you know, like I said, Steve, you know, his brother, Joe Dent Evil, you know, Shane, the Benny, you know, all these guys, you know, the shout outs to Lee, you know, Lee, the
Yeah.
Dent Dinking,
Yeah.
such a nice guy.
And you know what? He's an older guy, another guy that is so passionate. First thing when I was at MTE, first thing he did is said, "I got something for you." Opens up his bag and he gives me this card. The freaking nicest guy in the world.
Who does that, Ryan? I mean, it's how they always say it's the little things that matter, and for what he did, it was just it was awesome. James from the Dean King, the Dean King family, but especially James, just because to me he trained me, and the way I always give it up to him because just the way he laid it out for me, that I was able to understand it and see it in a way where that it was just like I don't know. I just it's a huge difference of how you're trained and how you visualize and see the whole thing. And like I said, a lot of all the great thank guys out there and everyone who went out to to Vegas. It was really cool to see just the whole community together.
It was. It was just a different MT. It was very different, and it was good. It was a good one.
Good for Ultra Dent too. Because without their tools, I don't know where I would have been. Because their tools have really made huge difference in my career. You too, Ryan. Shout outs to you, man. Thanks for putting this platform of Dent Digest. This is awesome, man. And to me, it's just like I'm honored to be on this show. And
you know what? The thing I wanted to do was, guys that are watching this show want to hear your story, want to hear how you won that competition and just how you have been successful in your business. And that information wasn't really fully out there. That was out there a little bit in different platforms.
Another thing too, Ryan, that I forgot to mention earlier, and I know you talked about it earlier too, but it's pretty standard. But sometimes we forget of how important it is, and it's the cross checking.
Oh yes.
Honestly, to me, this whole competition, my main focus, and to me, it's kind of like a secret, that is cross checking.
Yeah.
I kept cross checking, every 10 minutes.
Yeah.
A lot of guys sometimes they'll spend a lot of time just trying to get to that center. Just stop, cross check it, and keep working that door. How it came together for me, that fender, how it came together for me, is cross checking.
Yeah.
It's
speed. That's what speeds you up.
Yeah. So to me, it's just like, if I could say, what was that one thing that really got me to that first place? It was cross checking.
Yeah.
And to a lot of us, like, oh yeah, of course you got to cross check. No, you have to stop. Because sometimes like I said, you'll be stuck there, but stop, just cross check and keep working.
And it's hard for guys. You know what I mean? I'm a 360 guy. I move that board 360 degrees. Sometimes I'm laying at the dent, looking down, looking up, and Shane's like, "What are you doing?" And I'm like, "Just trust me. Just trust me." So, but no, man, I really appreciate you coming on. There are a couple events that are coming up. I don't know if you guys, let me get a picture of this real quick. Hold on.
If you want some, but here, let me do this, Ryan.
Look at this guy. This guy. That's so cool. So there are a couple little bit of news. They still have the Mega Media event. There are a couple spots open. If you're interested in doing that event, make sure you get with John Hiley and sign up. That's coming up fast. And, it's for me, it's super honored to be a speaker at that event. So I'm super excited about that. You also have the Stanliner seminar that's coming up.
Mm-hmm.
So that's going to be January 28th and 29th in Orlando, the week of MTE.
Tea time?
Yeah, it's a couple days before MTE.
Oh, got it.
So that's another event. If you're going to do it, I don't know how many more they're going to do. So if you're going to do it, make sure you get signed up. Stanliner, you can go right on their website and sign up there. It's the same group that the MTE's in. So MTE's at one of the resorts. They have another building, and that's the building that they're using for the MTE. He needed to make sure he could get cars in there, and it's going to be a little more elaborate than the first seminar. So I think it'll be another good one. So if you guys need to sign up for that, Stanliner and Dent Trainer Media. And like I said, I really appreciate you coming on, and all you guys that have been in here for an hour. Hopefully this new hour slot difference makes a,
I wish you would have had a nicer background than yours.
That was a perfect background.
And I'll tell you, my 3-year-old probably can't wait to come in here already and see what is it that's doing in here.
Well, look, Manny, you keep up the good work.
Thank you.
And, I appreciate you coming on.
Thank you, brother. Thank you. Thank you.
And remember, guys, next week, I've actually got John Renstorm from Mobile Tech RX coming on. Some new things that are coming out that haven't really been released yet. So join us next week. And Manny, just keep up the good work. And happy birthday.
Thank you, brother. Thank you. Appreciate it. Shout out to all the techs out there.
Keep it real, guys. Thank you.